For the creatives, the ones who see art in everyday moments, who imagine what could be and bring it to life. At Foreign Credit Union, they believe in moving forward together, each member, each moment. This is your space to build, to explore, and to create a future that reflects your vision. Visit forritcu.org. Foreign Credit Union, for those who dare to create. Federally insured by NCUA. The holiday season is here, and there's no better place to cozy up and connect with loved ones than at the Salishan Coastal Lodge. So this year, start a new holiday tradition, create unforgettable family memories along the stunning Oregon coast with a special offer for our listeners. Use code CITYCAST for 20% off your stay. Book your family's coastal retreat at salishan.com today with code CITYCAST and make the holidays truly magical. For a mid-sized city, Portland generates a lot of meme-worthy news. From exploding whales to cement milkshakes, there are many images and stories that have made it past our local zeitgeist into the national headlines. So today on CityCast Portland, we're breaking down some of our city and state's most viral moments. And joining me are our very own producers, John Atariani and Julia Fiaioni. It's Thursday, December 5th. I'm Claudia Meza, and this is what Portland's talking about. John, Julia, thank you for joining me.
Hey, Claudia.
Hello.
Well, we all decided when we were gathering this list that we were not going to include any Portlandia memes because we just wanted to focus on the plentiful reality-based news headline making viral moments that we found, but also we realized none of us really watched the show, so all we could remember was put a bird on it, and like that would have been a really boring 30 minutes.
Yep.
But also looking at the list we gathered, I realized two things. One, most of these incidents were shared online and in newscasts like beyond Portland, and also not all of them are from Portland, like the one I'm going to kick things off with, which could possibly be one of Oregon's first viral moments. And of course, I'm talking about Florence, Oregon's exploding whale. Play the clip.
All right, Fred, you can take your hands out of your ears.
Our cameras stopped rolling immediately after the blast. The humor of the entire situation suddenly gave way to a run for survival as huge chunks of whale blubber fell everywhere.
It's like too ridiculous to be real. It just sounds like a parody clip. And like, obviously the newscasters were being a little bit tongue-in-cheek about it, I think, but it just never gets old for me.
It really doesn't.
Well, even though this insane decision to blow up a whale carcass like happened way back on November 12th, 1970, it actually wasn't even until like the early 2000s that the news segment that we just heard a clip from went viral online. This is like pre-YouTube, internets, lots of listservs, you know, and ever since then, it's been brought up pretty much like every year on its anniversary because I think 50 plus years later, like we're still processing that insane decision. Like we're still trying to figure out like, I feel like every time we're like, wait, how many tons of dynamite? You know? And what I love is that Florence just embraced it. Like, they're just like, this is our weird addition to local history. Like, they opened the Exploding Whale Memorial Park. Have you guys heard about that?
No.
Yeah. There is a memorial park there. And also, every year, they now celebrate Exploding Whale Day, which this year officially turned into a whole month. The mayor declared November the month to memorialize the exploding whale. That's the extent. And this also includes a whale trail week, which leads up to November 12th and is filled with activities and local business participation. Like this year, Paul Lindman, the anchorman that we heard a little from the news clip, was actually in Florence signing autographs.
Oh, no.
He was like, hey, every time a whale washes ashore, I get an email.
Of course. Forever tied to the exploding whale. Yeah.
Well, it makes sense. There are so many quotable lines just from his scripting throughout that whole newscast. Like one of my favorites is he's talking about how people are gathering to watch, and he says, "Sand dunes were covered with spectators and landlubber newsmen, shortly to become land blubber newsmen." It's like, how do you get away with that?
Dude, like even Sufjan Stevens has written a song about it. To me, I'm just like, yeah, it's like now American history, if that dude has written a
Totally.
song about it.
My favorite bit of Exploding Whale Day trivia. So this was November 12th, 1970, which is also Tanya Harding's birthday.
Oh,
So
yeah.
on this
Wait,
same day,
Hold up. November 12th?
November 12th, 1970, the same day that the whale blew up, Tanya Harding came into this world.
There's just something so magical about that. I feel like
Yeah.
how else,
Yeah, and in case somebody needs help making the connection, Tanya Harding, Portland darling, skating superstar. I mean, I guess another viral, for all the wrong reasons, Portland moment was when Nancy Kerrigan had her knee clubbed, part of a plot that Tanya Harding was at the center of. So there's a bonus viral moment for all the Portland historians out
I
there.
love that you said Portland darling. I don't think that many people consider her that.
I think she is. I think that she's sort of a cult celebrity.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
was told that she used to skate at the Lloyd Center ice rink, and there's just something so sweet about that, thinking of a young Tanya Harding, like doing her routines, because she was like the working class kid,
Yeah.
Nancy Kerrigan was like this really fancy lady, and here's Tanya making her own costumes, practicing at the Lloyd Center at the mall,
Yeah,
Aw.
totally.
Well, John, I know you had one in particular that honestly we were all like, I don't think this is viral, but I want to hear why you think this is a viral moment.
Oh my gosh. I think this is the other ultimate vintage Portland viral moment. Also in the 1970s, Bud Clark, at this time, he was just the owner of the Goose Hollow Inn. Well, he was a part of a promotional campaign against venereal disease.
Oh.
And what part of this was, he had a local news photographer take a photo of him in a trench coat, sort of apparently flashing himself to a naked statue. And this was like all a part of this like anti-venereal disease campaign. Well, that photographer thought it was funny, put the clip "Expose Yourself to Art" on it, and started selling posters of this image for $1 a pop at Waterfront Park. This poster went so big, it basically catapulted Bud Clark into being the mayor of Portland. He became this local celebrity for this image of him holding his trench coat open, "Expose Yourself to Art." They'd sold 250,000 posters by the time he became the mayor of Portland. And like his competitor basically said that this poster was proof he was not a serious candidate.
That's never stopped Portland before, baby.
So this like
No.
actually was the viral moment that a lot of onlookers say catapulted Bud Clark into being the mayor of Portland.
That's I had no idea. Okay, I have so many questions about that, John, because one, I want to understand how it at all was ever part of a venereal, like anti-venereal disease campaign. Like, I want to know the logic.
Apparently the campaign was they had t-shirts that said something like "Zap the Clap." That's what he's wearing under the trench coat. So
Wait, under the trench coat, he's wearing a t-shirt that says "Zap the Clap."
he is wearing a t-shirt underneath the trench
So
coat
he's
that
not
says
naked.
So he's not actually naked.
There's so many layers to this.
So that was the front of that picture, but someone took the back of it, and it just looked like he was exposing himself to
Yeah.
the statue. So they were like, "Oh, here's
That's
another thing."
wild.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So many memes.
That's incredible.
That's amazing.
No, and I love how recently in our most recent mayoral candidate campaign, Leave Ostis did the same thing. She went and took inspiration from that photo, literally recreated it in front of the same statue, but instead of wearing a trench coat, she's wearing like a pink denim jacket and leans into the art angle because that was like the focus of her campaign. But it's incredible how long of a history that picture has and how much it's like changed over the years.
Totally. Yeah.
So I have a viral moment for you two now. I know you both know it, but I love talking about it. This was actually the first Portland video that was shown to me when I first moved here a few years ago. And this is from February 2014, so over 10 years ago. And the video is titled now, "Joggers Get More Than What They Bargained For on Portland Street."
I caught up with Chelsea and Michael, who were jogging by and were nice to just stop for a quick second. And I said, what are you doing running? And you're saying it was really good out?
It's the perfect texture for running. Very low impact on its dry snow so your feet don't get wet.
Oh.
Yeah, we're both California kids, so we haven't had many snow days in our lives, so this is pretty exciting.
All right, well, go ahead and keep on the run. I'm sorry to have kept you, but I appreciate you guys talking with us.
Stay warm.
All right, thanks. We've seen a lot of people out here, like you said, running, sledding, just enjoying it. One thing, oops. That can happen, unfortunately. Looks like Chelsea's okay. You okay? Yes, okay.
You want to explain what happened in that clip,
So
Julia?
what's brilliant about this is this newswoman is talking to these two joggers, and she's wrapping up the conversation, and they start jogging away. It's like actively snowing in this conversation, and it takes like maybe 50 feet for this cameraman to continue following them, and Chelsea just like slips under her feet and eats it, like hits the back of her head, and like the cameraman like holds on the couple jogging away and waits for Chelsea to give a thumbs up, doesn't even turn back to the camera as she continues to walk away from the conversation. Just wild.
Can I tell you something about that clip? It came out when I was working at Wyden and Kennedy, and Chelsea was also working there too. I forget her department, but it was so like embarrassing because it went viral and like it was shared all over, the company. And it's a big company, but it's like small enough. And she was such a good sport about it. Like she was totally just like, yeah, that fucking happened. And was really like whatever. But I think in my head, like why Portland hanged on so hard to it is because they were from California.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's a little bit of like, we know what we're doing. Nope. Down you go.
But it's like, I must say though, it's like truly a Portland thing to think that it makes sense to jog in the snow.
Oh, mm-hmm.
It's so funny. They were even talking about in the interview how there were other people biking and skiing and jogging, which is just like they got unlucky that they were on camera and happened to fall. But I'm sure that was just happening across the board.
Yeah. I raise you an older but also timeless winter classic. You want to play the clip?
I would love to.
Even just listening to it hurts.
Not good.
So if you couldn't decipher what the noise was, back in 2007 during a snow and ice storm, someone shot a few minutes of footage from their like third or fourth story apartment building that was located on top of this steep hill on Southwest 20th and Salmon. And this clip just shows all of these cars for some reason thinking that they can just drive down this hill while it's covered in ice. They have nothing on their tires, just bald ass tires, and they're just slipping and sliding. It's like a pinball machine. I feel like we've all seen this clip without knowing we've seen this clip because it's I feel like every ice storm it's played and some people have actually confused it for real footage because really nothing has changed. Like we're still idiots who can't drive in the snow and we still don't seem to understand how like car tires and ice work. And so like it's played every year. It's like, remember this?
When this was brought up as an idea, I was like, wait, which one? I feel like I've seen at least 100 different variations of this moment.
All in Portland.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, let's take a quick break here. And when we come back, more of Portland's top viral moments. Did you know PAIR is making a huge impact in Portland? PAIR supports homeless youth by providing access to education, art, wilderness recreation, and job training programs. These programs help youth heal, build confidence, and discover their potential. With a focus on love, community, and never turning anyone away, PAIR is transforming lives. This holiday season, make a difference. Donate to PAIR through Willamette Week Give Guide at giveguide.org/nonprofits/PAIR. That's giveguide.org/nonprofits/PAIR. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. So how are you staying cozy during the winter months? For me, my favorite part of the season, aside from spending more time with friends and family, is getting to cook for them. I pour myself a little something, put on some records, and linger through a complicated recipe. It's my thing. It brings me comfort, and it's also how I stay warm and cozy during the season. But therapy is also a great way to bring yourself some comfort that never goes away, even when the season changes or you start getting busy all over again. It's helpful for learning positive coping skills and remembering to do all those things that bring you joy and keep you sane. Therapy is also helpful to learn how to set boundaries to get more of your time back, empowering you to be the best version of yourself. Find comfort this December with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/citycast today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/citycast. Okay, so for the next addition to Portland's notoriety, I'm taking us all the way back to 2019. This is even before the George Floyd uprisings downtown. I would say this moment in particular possibly marked the beginning of the right-wing media's obsession with our city. And I'm talking, of course, about cement milkshakes, which I think was the first major right-wing meme made at our expense. This was before your time, Julie, but do you remember cement milkshakes, John?
I do. This was just sort of when there was a lot of, if I remember correctly, just like fights downtown between left-wing and right-wing protesters. It was really like they were just getting together downtown to brawl, and that's where like cement milkshake came from.
Yeah, so it started during a Proud Boy rally, because that's basically the reason that kept happening was because Proud Boys kept coming to Portland just to make a point. You know what I mean? Like they were just instigating, and for some reason, the city just let it happen. Like they were just like, yeah, sure, go. So Portland police said that they'd been informed that Antifa protesters had pelted far-right demonstrators with cement milkshakes, meaning milkshakes with like quick concrete or something. Of course, none of this was ever found to be true. There was never any evidence, but there was this highly shared picture of Andy Ngo's face covered in a white liquid, which was a milkshake. And Andy Ngo, if you weren't around in 2019, was a conservative writer and self-proclaimed reporter that mostly wrote opinion pieces and annoyed people on Twitter. To say he was not well-liked in town is actually like a kind and generous retelling of his legacy in Portland. An investigation of where the cement milkshake rumor started by Mother Jones found that it was pretty much made up by a police officer who thought he saw quick drying cement on a milkshake cup and then decided to tweet it. And then somehow after that tweet, it spurred an email to the police bureau. It was like after the tweet, we actually got something confirming, claiming that it had been added. But again, nothing was ever found. And then Fox News went so hard on this claim that they basically made it true, you know? And once they found out there was no evidence, they walked back their claims. But like by that point, people had just decided that's what happened.
Yeah. Sort of the opening scene of the hyperventilation and hyperbole over protests in Portland, right, Claudia?
Yeah. It was just like this one dude's face that no one really liked, covered in like what looked to me, to be honest, when they were like, it looked quick cementy. I'm like, that's a vegan milkshake. They're just sticky. Like that's just a bunch of like coagulated, you know what I mean?
It is the absence of dairy,
like,
but not in the way that you...
That's what that looked like.
Any good left-wing protester can identify a vegan milkshake and an arm's throw, right?
Come on.
Yeah, I mean, I think that really set the stage for 2020, though, and like just the crush of so many memes and viral moments and the memorable things that happened over the course of the George Floyd protest. I mean, I think we could do a whole episode just sort of pointing out moments from that 8-month period. I mean, but the one that jumps to my mind was Naked Athena. Do you remember this? So this, again, has a journalist at the center. This guy, Dave Killen, he was a photographer with The Oregonian. And like, you know, there were these protests downtown night after night. And like all sorts of just wild and unexpected things kept happening. But there was this one night he was down there and this woman completely naked, except for wearing a mask, walked in front of the protesters up to the line of the police in their riot gear and started doing like ballet poses and like sitting down and doing like yoga poses. And allegedly the police were like firing pepper balls like at her feet, but she was just sitting there and just staring them down. And this guy, Dave, he got this completely iconic photo from behind of her in the foreground sitting in the road with the police and the riot gear and the lights all shining. It is like one of the most memorable moments.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
she's completely naked, spread eagle, just like kind of showing them her everything.
Her bits.
Yeah.
Just her bits and bobs. But she was just sitting there. I don't know. I didn't know that they were throwing pepper balls at her feet because that just sounds like that would really hurt
Yeah.
Yeah.
if they're naked. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Allegedly, they were trying to intimidate her, and she was just
No,
standing stone
not
cold.
Yeah, she knew why she was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree, John, that like moment in Portland history, I feel like every night there was something new. Like there was like the wall of moms, you know, the wall of dads. Like every day there was just like a new image, a new piece of info that just captured not only like our Portland, headlines, but also just like went national because it was just like the whole city's there?
Yeah.
Like the whole city?
Yeah.
It's just like, not really, but yeah,
Oh my gosh. And so many of these moments were happening on the weekends. And I was a morning newscaster at that point. So I was staying up watching these live streams and like watching it happen and then going into the studio in the morning and doing my best to sort of recount what had occurred the night before. I mean, you remember the tear gas Teddy moment?
Oh,
when
yeah.
Ted Wheeler got tear gassed? Like I was at my computer. So let me sort of back up and explain what happened here. There were these protests that were happening at the Downtown Justice Center. The mayor was getting a lot of criticism for not being present at these events. So one day he's like, all right, I'm going to go down and I'm going to talk to the protesters and I'm going to, just like show the public that I'm accountable. And as he's up there against the barrier, the police end up tear gassing the crowd. And there's just this exquisite video of Mayor Ted Wheeler getting tear gassed in the face and him like just clearly being in so much pain. And all the protesters around him were just like, yeah, you see how that feels?
Well, let me back it up even further because it wasn't just like, hey, where's Ted? Why isn't he here? It was just like, hey, why are you letting them tear gas us?
Yeah.
Play this clip because he was tear gassed along with the crowd. And they're just like, what do you think of the mayor being here? And it's like such a moment in time.
I think he's genuinely not a good mayor.
Count Danielle James among the protesters who weren't happy to see the mayor and glad to see him eventually whisked away by security shortly before midnight. Will he return in the days ahead? That's unclear.
Can you imagine getting tear gassed and then booed? And you're just like, dudes, I'm here because you wanted me to be here. And everyone's like, no, we didn't really. We just wanted the tear gassing to stop. I mean, that's why the Wall of Moms came, which was a bunch of moms that were like coming to make sure that people weren't getting hurt because like their kids were there. And then came the Wall of Dads with the blowers to blow the tear gas away.
Yeah.
That was like that era. And did you know that happened 2 days after Naked Athena? Like that's how quickly these things were happening.
Yeah. And that was the moment that he got the nickname that he carried definitely through the rest of the protests. And in some circles to this day, that's when he became Tear Gas
Teddy. Yeah.
Yeah, this is funny too, because I love that you pointed out, Claudia, like what order these things happened, because I was still in California at the time. I had not moved here yet. And I remember seeing that photo of Naked Athena, but I heard nothing about Ted Wheeler getting tear gas. But when I moved here, I was like, oh my God, that happened too. And that happened too. There were so many other things that didn't go as viral that were happening all at once. It was just like wild to learn about.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so much. The Boogaloo Boys.
Boogaloo Boys?
Do you remember the Boogaloo Boys?
No clue what you're talking about.
John knows all the deep cuts.
So the Boogaloo Boys, I could be completely mangling this history, but I remember they were like a fringe alt-right group that decided that they didn't like the government either, so they made common cause with the left-wing protesters.
What? They united?
Yeah, because it was like Civil War II electric boogaloo was the phrase.
And that's why they were called the Boogaloo Boys?
Yeah.
It's great.
Civil War II electric boogaloo.
Oh my God. These are like, I've never heard Boogaloo Boys. Speaking of deep cuts, John, you wanted to talk about slime eels, which again, I was like, I'm sorry, slime what? What are you talking about?
This is how you know someone's been working in local media too long, when they're like, I need to talk about the slime eels. Okay. 2017, Highway 101, the highway along the coast. Anyone who's ever driven to the coast, if there's an accident, it just turns into an endless traffic jam because there's no way you can get around it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, back in 2017, there was an accident where a truck was approaching a construction zone and hit his brakes and lost control. And this truck was carting 13 containers of hagfish, also known as slime eels, weighing about 7,500 pounds. So these are these absolutely disgusting looking fish that look like eels, but their main defense mechanism is mucus. They release a ton of mucus that it can expand to 10,000 times its original size in 0.4 seconds.
Oh my God.
That's a lot of slime.
So this truck crashes, causes a 4-car pileup, spills eels all over the road, but everything in this accident scene is immediately completely covered with slime.
Do we have a clip of that?
Yes, we do.
101 was covered in slime. So too were a bunch of vehicles that had crashed into each other as a result of what happened. It was quite the mess. Firefighters tell me they used 5,000 gallons of water to clean the highway. One firefighter said it's one of the weirdest calls he's ever been on, and that sentiment was shared by witnesses as well.
I mean, it's unfortunate that this is a podcast. Go to the show notes, take a look at this video. Just imagine a horror show of an entire car crash completely covered in slime. It is so disgusting.
It looks like Stranger Things.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem real at all.
Yeah. Ugh. Do you want an even deeper cut?
Yeah.
You want me to go even deeper?
No, you can't. No.
Move on.
Do you know about the fucking cones?
I do, and I know nothing about why it's a thing.
I do not.
But I see it all over Reddit, and it kind of drives me crazy. So please tell me about it. I want to know, actually.
So this is something that you were either going to have absolutely never heard of in your life or know everything about. The fucking cones. 5 years ago on Portland Reddit, this guy posts a post that says, "My neighbor uses traffic cones and garbage cans to protect her parking spot on the street in front of her house. This stranger to our block is tempting fate." And then the photo is of a car with 2 pieces of paper taped to its windows. In all caps written, "Don't fucking park here," but it's spelled Fucken. And then it says, "You seen my fucking cones." Fucken. And that's it. That's the whole thing.
That became the meme?
So everything on Portland Reddit has now become about fucking cones for the past 5 years.
Yeah.
Anytime that someone sees an orange traffic cone, they post it on Portland Reddit. Portland, have you seen this fucking cone? It's just a big cone. When the fucking cone sees you, it's traffic cones with little faces drawn on them. I seen a feral fucking cone in its native habitat today. It's a sort of old looking traffic cone on a nature trail. I mean, this has been going on continuously forever in perpetuity and will continue on Portland Reddit probably forever.
I do want to highlight that John hasn't cursed really once because it's Fucken.
Oh, yeah.
So technically
we're fine.
we're fine. We're not explicit.
Okay, but I've also done that before, though. I've definitely put things in the way of a parking spot to claim it temporarily. So I understand the strategy from this person.
I think it really is just the unhinged writing on these pieces of paper angrily taped to a car window that really sells it. Again, you have to see it to understand this person's total deranged outrage about their fucking cones.
But I love that it has become a Portland Reddit meme.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even a few weeks ago, there was a post, "The Portland unofficial holiday tree," which was a Christmas tree covered in traffic cones for some reason. It's just...
Oh, that's great. I have another one you're definitely going to have to see to believe it. So
yeah, I want to see you explain this.
This is not going to be fun to talk about, to be honest with you. There's a reason why this one was passed off to me. So this is a Twitter post from the Portland Pickles baseball team account from January 12th, 2022. And it's a horizontal image of the Portland Pickles mascot, Dylan. But it's just from the chest down to his waist. And there's something peculiar sticking up from what looks like between his legs. And the quote from the tweet is, new phone who dis, D-I-S. I think we're all following here, but he's basically like mimicking the deeply unfortunate unsolicited dick pic culture by pretending his thumb is his penis in the photo. So it is just his green mascot thumb.
I think he was just giving a thumbs up.
So there was some debate about this. So it got 64K likes, 14K retweets. There was a hashtag called I Stand With Dylan in all caps. There were t-shirts made of new phone who dis on the chest and then really low down his thumb icon on the shirt.
On the shirt?
On the shirt.
Okay, that's funny.
And people were debating, was this intentional? Is it actually his penis? Is it his thumb? There's a whole thing for a while. They really capitalized on the whole bit, but if you haven't seen it yet, you should definitely check it out.
Yeah, I feel like I actually saw that in national news. Like it came up because people were just like, what are they doing?
It was like a mini scandal. Yeah.
Yeah. What's funny about it too is that some people who reported on it misinterpreted it as like a proper accident, but it was all obviously intentional, right?
Yeah.
Which is so silly to see the back and forth on that.
Yeah, because it's the Portland Pickles. They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was covered like, oh, what a silly picture. They didn't realize that looked like a penis. And it's like, no, that's exactly what
So similar topic, another sports viral moment.
But different insignificant ways.
Different reasoning.
That was a really great transition to it. So anyhow, speaking of sports.
Just drawing the lines into sports and away from penises. Dame time.
Dame time. 2 words,
Dame time. So this is an iconic moment in Blazers history. It was the Houston Rockets versus the Portland Trailblazers in the spring of 2014. They were in the 6th game of the Western Conference Series, and the Blazers were down by just 2 points with 0.9 seconds left in the game when Damian Lillard hit a buzzer-beating three-pointer to close out the series. They didn't end up winning the championship, but the moment was so huge. It was nicknamed, quote, Rip City Revival, because Portland advanced to the semifinals for the first time since 2000. I'm going to play this clip because it's just like electric.
Foul to give for Houston. 9/10 left. A 3 wins the series. It's Lillard. He got the shot off. Lillard, good! Good! And the Blazers win the series for the first time in 14 years!
Damn.
Oh, it just gives me goosebumps.
Wait, was that the one where he just made that face? Do you know what I mean? Like there was like this one where he just like had no expression on his face.
Just owns it.
Everyone jumped on him, but he just kept staring at the camera, just like dead face, just like, yeah, I did that.
Yep.
Was that the one? I can't believe that was almost 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But that was the beginning of a really good run for them. You know, they did make it to the second round of the playoffs, I think in 2016 and 2019 after that.
Mm-hmm.
And there really was sort of the rumblings of like, oh, the Blazers are going to make it happen. The Blazers are almost there. Like Damian Lillard's going to take us there. It was a really, really exciting time to be a sports fan. I mean, it was right when I was moving to Portland too. So it was kind of my introduction to the Trailblazers was that era. But yeah, I mean, God bless the Blazers of today, but they don't have the same level of electricity at this moment, you know?
The thing I love about this whole thing though, this whole like Dame Time nickname is that it's literally the second sentence on his Wikipedia page. It says, regarded for his big shots in the clutch, he has been nicknamed, quote, Dame Time.
Mm-hmm.
So it really is just like this endless legacy of being that guy. And this moment was just such a perfect example of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I feel like there's a lot more viral moments that just did not like percolate. But so if anyone's listening and you're just like, you forgot this one, like, please email us. Like, I'm sure we could probably do an entire other episode of just more viral moments and also just John's deep cuts of like, what are you talking? He's like,
let me tell you.
He's like, remember?
Way back.
He's like, when I pulled out the largest lint ball in my dryer. I'm like, that's not a viral moment. That is something you solely experienced.
I would love to see that.
Back in 2018. All right, Grandpa.
Well, yeah, email us your favorite viral moment at portland@citycast.fm. We love to hear from you. Well, thanks, Julia. Thanks, John.
Yeah, thanks, Claudia. This was fun.
Thank you.
And now for some events happening this week. Every Thursday on the show, we like to bring you a few recommendations to help you plan your weekend, and here's what we got. Today is Portland Art Museum's first Thursday, so all day from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., you get in for free. On Saturday, they're hosting an ornament exchange from noon to 2 p.m. The next day, there's carolers and free arts and crafts. They're having events nearly every other day, which are listed on their site. You have through the 23rd of this month to go check it out. Also, the Christmas markets have started. On Friday from 4 to 11 p.m., the Free Portland Night Market is open for business. On Saturday, the German Christmas Market is happening at the German American Society of Portland. All weekend, the Scan Fair Nordic Christmas Market will also be happening at the Oregon Convention Center. And this is only scratching the surface of what's happening this weekend. For even more local events, sign up for our daily newsletter, Hey Portland, or check out our site at portland.citycast.fm/events. We'll throw a link in the show notes. Well, that's all for today here on CityCast Portland. Thanks so much for listening. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more from around the city. Until then, see you at Slim's.